I've been called a bully, a queen bee, a ringleader. That was my favorite. That was a teacher. And maybe some of that was true. The thing about being a mean girl is that her power doesn't only come from good looks, confidence, but also self-respect and the act of surrender. The act of not needing something from somebody else, not needing someone to validate who she is. Being able to stand alone is what inevitably makes someone a leader. And that's the same for men, that's the same for women. Women don't like to stand alone. Nobody likes to stand alone, really. But the ability to do so, thus letting something go, letting go of other people liking me, surrendering to the fact that not everyone will, allows a woman to be her full self. When you accept that people aren't gonna like you, people will call a woman a bitch, a mean girl. And so I don't think a mean girl is something we should be afraid to be in this context. I'm not talking about cruelty. I'm talking about being someone that does not care what other people think. Hi, I'm Maya. I'm the Renaissance heroine, and I'm here to tell you the truth. Okay. I don't think that women are less ruthless than men. I think they're just less direct and they do it in a different way. You see, there are different female archetypes. In female hierarchies, you got the queen bee and you've got her worker bees. And these worker bees are doing her bidding, helping her out, just being an overall good friend most of the time. Not always. There's still always somewhat of a level of distance you have to keep because you don't know what people are saying, especially as the leader. And so the queen bee is somebody who is admired, sometimes envied, usually a product of desire, but also fear. People are intimidated by her. And that's not because she tries to intimidate, but people in general are intimidated by people more confident than them. Not even more good looking, but just more confident and having more self-respect. It's intimidating to people. There are other archetypes too, like, you've heard of like the mom friend, the one who like takes care of everything. Usually she's like kind of second in command to the queen bee because she's responsible. She's not going to cause an issue. She's smart, but she's also usually afraid of confrontation. She wants to take care of everyone's feelings. So she's usually the mom friend and the one that people go to talk shit. And she kind of is able to work her way around and be friends with everyone. There's usually like another archetype, like the flirt, the one that also sometimes can't be trusted because she will flirt with your boyfriend. She will flirt with anybody around. And so she can be fun to hang out with and she can even have good advice. She can be a great time, but she also has her place and she kind of sometimes lacks that self-respect. Finally, the final archetype I'm going to talk about is the liability. And this one is kind of like the court jester. She's there to like entertain and to tell a crazy story and you go, okay. And you kind of laugh with her and a little bit at her. You might not know you're laughing at her, but you are. And these archetypes all kind of work together to form this female friend group. And you would not see that from the outside, would you? No, you walk into a girlfriend group and you don't see the social hierarchy immediately. You see all of the girls they act egalitarian. They're like, oh, hugs and compliments and your hair and your outfit and everything and we're all like together. Kumbaya, right? Versus a male friend group, you know immediately who top dog is. You know immediately who's like that guy. You can tell by the demeanor, the way that everybody kind of shifts around him. Everything is about him, helping him. Like that's always very clear. There's even that joke about, oh my, like I hung out with my boyfriend's friends for the first time and I found out he's the ugliest. No, and it's not just like he's ugly, like bad looking. It's that he's less powerful and usually is like the one that's equivalent of the liability for the men, which is like, they're court jester, they're butt of the joke, the one that they are able to like shit on basically. And that's just not attractive. Anyway, what I'm saying is that male hierarchies and female hierarchies both exist. They operate very differently. Male hierarchies you can see very clearly from the outside. Female hierarchies, you cannot. It is really like an internal psychological game. And people sometimes don't even know where they are in that. Everyone wants to make it seem like things are equal and egalitarian. With men, they can like rate themselves. They can say like who's the most attractive here and easily do it and go like, clearly it's Brian. Clearly. Women will never do that. They'll go, well, but she has great eyes and you have great hair and da-da-da. And like basically like nobody can say it straight up. And And so that's like a good example of like, there's the objective reality with men, and then there's the psychological emotional reality, like the 4D with women. And so why is this queen bee character so fascinating? You know, like your Regina George, your Cher Horowitz, that kind of thing. Why are they so iconic? It's because and this is so, they're really wrapped up in themselves. They're wrapped up in themselves, but they're able to see beyond themselves as well. They have ultimate self-respect, but they're still enjoyable to be around. They're envied, they're desired, they're feared, they're loved in some ways. They have their friends, they have their friend group, and she appears untouchable. She's not ruled by anyone's approval. She isn't popular because someone said she's popular. She's popular because she's who she is. She is unapologetically herself. She has emotional control. She's not causing like emotional chaos. She's confident in social situations, and she doesn't collapse when people don't like her. Like, I'm thinking about Cher in Clueless. I think she was in debate class, and her debate was not good, and people were like, it's not good, and she was just like, don't care, like, don't care. Okay. Or like Regina, when somebody tried to sabotage her and like cut nipples around her on her shirt. She's like, okay, I'll just diva this. Like, doesn't care. And that's what it is. It's the letting go. It's the surrender, realizing that other people's approval is so meaningless. She's not ruled by anybody's approval, which is inherently sexy, inherently magnetic. It's like when you want something so bad and you're grasping for it. Imagine like you're holding sand, okay? You can like hold it in your hand, go, okay, yeah, it's there. Or you can grasp it like this, and then it's like all falling through your fingers. That lack of neediness is magnetizing to other people. People who rely on external validation are socially vulnerable. If other people can tell you who you are, they can destroy your psyche. Somebody like a queen bee, mean girl, senses that immediately and begins to ostracize you because it weakens the social dynamic if you need somebody to tell you who you are. There's a couple ways that this looks like if you don't have self-respect, because that's what it all comes down to. Knowing who you are and not needing the validation of other people to tell you that you're doing something right or something wrong is self-respect, when you don't need that. And so that lack of self-respect can look like lack of boundaries with people you're dating, your family, your friend. You let people walk all over you. Okay, strike one. People pleasing, trying to make everyone happy, and in that case, not offend, not having any opinion on anything for fear of disrupting someone. The inability to stand alone, to stand up for what you believe in, and just instability in general, that emotional chaos that people bring when they're like, my boyfriend cheated on me and I don't know what to do, and like all of that. And then chronic helplessness, when you're like, I don't know how to do anything myself. And a lot of women fall into that, trying to appear like dumber than they are. I think because they think it'll like appeal to men, stupid men, by the way, who are like, yeah, I don't want my woman to be smart. I actually would rather I could tell her everything. And so women are like, I'm going to act ditzy. I'm going to be ditzy. Okay, maybe that like charms some stupid men, does not work with women. It's actually just causes instability. And so here's why these traits get you ostracized from friend groups with women. Because they cause instability, they cause chaos, and they cause stress. And women don't want to be stressed. Chaos puts other women in their masculine energy when they have to come in and be even your mommy. When they have to come in and be your mommy or be your daddy and tell you what to do. And you become a baby. So you become unable to be respected. And with that, here's the thing about women. We will go for so long because we like to help. We like to be helpful. Sometimes we like to be mommy. And it feels good to look at other people's lives and go, well, at least I'm not that, right? Don't lie and say you haven't done that, trying to be on a high horse and say like, well, at least I'm not like her where I'm struggling with this. Like sometimes women like that, and that's great. And then it gets really boring and it gets to a point where they don't want you around anymore. Yeah, that hurts. And here's the thing. I've been both. I've been on both sides of this coin. I've been the mean girl bully who's told women, okay, we don't want you around, get lost. And I've also been the girl that's been told to get lost. And so that's why I can talk about this. And most women have been both. This idea that you're only one, you're just the Regina George archetype, you're just the mean girl, you're just the queen bee. No. Most women have been both, because around different strokes for different folks, right? Some people, there are some friend groups you can get in that they're all emotionally chaotic to some extent. And so your emotional chaos kind of fits in with them. But there's other groups that you can be in that aren't quite there. So for example, I've been the mean girl. I've told people like, we don't want to be I don't want to be your friend, and like told them why, or told them like, here's the things I'm concerned about. And most people can't change, at least not that quickly. I've not said I don't want to be your friend anymore. The concerns that I bring up are usually so great, the room is red. Okay. And so been on that side. I've also been on the side of somebody who was let go of as a friend because I was bringing emotional chaos into somebody who didn't need that in their life. And I was pissed when it happened. Like, mind you, both of these have happened this year, like not even like in the distant past. Both of these situations have existed. And at the time I was like, I don't get it. Like, I've listened to her and all her problems over the years. And now for me, when I have a problem, like, so yeah, that's honestly, it's fair. It's fair. Like, I've not usually been the problem. I've been more on the letting go of people side than the being let go of side. But I have been both. And so when you stop serving someone in a certain way and you've changed and need them in a certain, that's just, it's hard to deal with. People don't like change. So if you've been the whole friendship, that friend to somebody who needed help all the time, if you're the one that's struggling and needs help, and the dynamic shifts, then that was never the roles you were supposed to serve. And here's the beautiful thing. You can always come back. Women love to rekindle friendships. Ooh, we love it. We love a rekindling. Like, ran into this girl and like we are tight now. We love that. And so there's always a way back if it's meant to be. And so the mean girl has mastered that. She said, okay, this is not for me right now, so I'm gonna let you go. Maybe we come back someday. Like, I'm not gonna say something so cruel and so mean as to forever harm this relationship, but just enough saying like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And I think that's valid. I think it's valid to not want to be someone's friend anymore because they're struggling. Yeah, I know that's fucked up. A lot of people think that's fucked up. Like, no, like when somebody's struggling, that's when you need to be there with them the most. No. Because here's what happens. Like I said, women like to help. And so you do. You give the advice, you give the solutions, you help the best you can, on and on. But eventually it gets to a point where they have to do it themselves. And you have to sometimes leave someone as far away from you as needed to unconditionally love. I'm not seeing you anymore. I cannot unconditionally love you in the state that you are in. So I have to leave you over there. And maybe we can come back, but for now I have to leave you over there. And that's when they have to go be with God. And if they go to God, God will heal. I know it. I've been there. And here's a beautiful thing about God. God will keep giving you the same lesson over and over and over again until you learn it. There are no freebies with God. If you have a lesson that needs learned, He will keep bringing you that lesson in this repetitive pattern until you can figure it out. And so sometimes the mean girl in your life, if you're always getting victimized by a mean girl and you're being ostracized, you have to examine that pattern and go, why does this keep happening to me? What am I repeating over and over that's bringing me to this same conclusion? The beautiful thing is once you pass, and then you can move forward. If a situation comes up again, you know the answer to the test. You know the lesson now. And so God will always bring you the same lesson in different situations until you learn it. And it sucks because sometimes you'll think you passed and you think you think you've gotten through it, you've avoided learning it. It always comes back around. I said at the beginning, I've been a mean girl. I still am. I've also been the victim. Probably will be again. Because a queen bee cannot stand alone. She also cannot have workers who threaten the safety and stability of the hive. And you can be one and you can be the other. Or you can be a worker. I've been a worker. Hey, I've been a worker. And the cool thing is, yeah, women are a lot more forgiving than bees. If a bee is kicked out of the hive, they're dead. They're literally dead. You can be kicked out of the hive and go be with God. Go be with God for a little bit. And if you're meant to return back to this hive or to a new hive, you'll have a lesson learned. That's it. I actually wrote an essay to kind of accompany this video. The essay is a little more harsh, I'll be real with you, but it's like kind of encompassing the same thing. So if you want to read it, I'm going to link it down below. I'm trying this new thing, this new format where I'm going to write an essay every 2 weeks. I'm going to do 2 essays a month and 2 videos a month on the essay. So I can kind of just, get my thoughts a little more together by the time I'm coming to make a video. So if you like that kind of format, or if you like one or the other, then subscribe to my Substack, subscribe to this channel. I'll be back here in 2 weeks. Love you.